review some things that we learned last year covering eggs. The first thing that we'll look at is the anatomy of the egg itself. Remember that the shell is porous, and so as the egg ages, that air cell will increase in size as air moves through the shell. The shell itself may be a variety of different colors that is dependent on the breed of the hen. The yolk also can come in different colors, and that is dependent upon the diet that the hen is eating. The yolk should be centered in a fresh egg, and the chalaza, or the cord that holds the yolk in place, is thicker in a fresh egg. The albumin is the white of the egg. There is both an inner and outer albumin. We'll see that a little bit more as we look at the next slide in the different grades of eggs. So again, a fresh egg will have a small air cell, the chalaza is thick, the yolk will stand up higher, and the white is thicker. When we store those eggs, we should store them in the original carton in the refrigerator with the air cell up. The different grades of eggs are done by the USDA, and buyers usually purchase the top two grades for menu items in which the egg's appearance is important. And what we often buy in the grocery store is also those top two grades of eggs. Grade B eggs are good for use in menu items that will hide their appearance, such as baked goods. If you look at the difference in the grades of eggs, a grade 2A egg will have that yolk centered. The albumin is going to stand up high as well as the yolk. A grade A egg will also have a higher yolk, but the albumin may not stand up as high, and the yolk itself may not be centered in the egg or be as rounded. And then as you look at the image of the grade B egg, you can see the flatness of that. And that's why it is most often used in baked goods rather than in a fried egg, for example. Eggs come in a variety of different sizes. If you are using eggs in a recipe, those are often based on large eggs. If you want a nice appearance of a fried egg, you may want to choose a medium egg, and the proportion of egg white is less to the yolk, and it gives a nicer appearance in a medium-sized egg for a fried egg. When we're looking at the different forms of eggs in which we can purchase, most often eggs are purchased in the shell fresh form, and that is needed if we are using a whole egg. We can also use dried eggs or egg substitutes, or there are other varieties that are available in the grocery store. When we're looking at the organic or free range, that usually means that those eggs have been come from chickens that have been raised without the use of antibiotics and pesticides or hormones. And customers sometimes also look for cage-free and free-range eggs, and that really refers to the way that chickens, how they were treated on the farms and related to how much space and outdoor access they have. However, hens that are fed only vegetable-based food products produce vegetarian eggs, and then omega-3 eggs are from hens that have special diets to ensure that their eggs even have more omega-3 than what naturally occurs in eggs. When we're cooking with eggs, temperature is important, and eggs should be stored in a refrigerator at least 45 degrees below Fahrenheit or below. If we are going to cook with eggs, we need to make sure that we are cooking them to safe temperatures. So 145 degrees Fahrenheit is important for food safety. If we are holding those eggs for service later on, they should be held at 155 degrees Fahrenheit. If we are making hollandaise sauce or salad dressing where an egg has very little cooking or no cooking, we should consider purchasing pasteurized eggs or an egg product that has been pasteurized so that we have a lower risk of bacteria in that raw egg. Remember that when we are working with eggs, that it is important to crack your egg into a separate bowl. That way we can inspect and see if there's any shell in there before we add that egg into the rest of our product. When we're cooking with eggs, there's a variety of ways that we can cook with eggs. We reviewed some of these last year, and my suggestion for you is go into Google Classroom, open the presentation, and look at the notes on this slide. There are a number of key cooking suggestions for cooking in these variety of ways with eggs. The key to keep in mind with eggs overall is that they're delicate and we cook them at a lower temperature so that we have less rubbery results with those. If we want a nice soft fluffy egg, a lower, gentler cooking method is always going to be very good. What I was hoping that we could do for our cooking lab, and I'm hoping that you can do at home this week, is to make either a quiche or a souffle. A quiche is usually a savory egg custard that is baked into a pastry crust. To make quiche, you're going to blend your eggs with milk or cream until smooth. Then you add a variety of different ingredients. Quiche Florentine is traditionally a traditional quiche that is made with Gruyere cheese, Swiss cheese, onion, spinach, crisp bacon, or cooked ham. There's many different recipes of different varieties of quiches out there. So start looking for those different recipes and see if that's something that you are interested in making at home. A souffle is a puffy egg dish that can either be savory or sweet. And to make a souffle, you will separate your eggs. You will beat the egg whites until almost stiff. And then the egg yolk is added into a bechamel sauce most often, and flavorings may be added. And then the egg white is gently folded into the other mixture, and that egg white will cause the souffle then to puff during baking. Souffles themselves are not difficult to make, but they can be time consuming in baking if you are making a larger souffle. To cut down on baking time, you can make the small individual portions of souffles. Timing is also important because that souffle is best served when it first comes out of the oven. It is hot where the flavor is the best and the texture will be best, so it does not deflate at that time.